Kerrit podcast. Podcast, good song.
Yeah, this sounds like something carrots could grow to.
Crunch into us.
What's up, Doc? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Fuck them.
Crunch.
Anyway, hey everybody, so we are on the Kerrit now. And Gerrit, can we just transition to the Kerrit now?
Perfect. Let's do it.
Terrific. Audience, you're wondering why I said transition. We're not. I'm kidding. LOL. Like, we've been here this is the beginning. Here we are. Okay, that's the opening now and whatever. Okay. So Gerrit, fun thing before we dive into everything. I think you would appreciate this. You know Letitia Wright from Black Panther?
I do.
Disney has a weird problem on their hands, Gerrit.
Yes, they do.
They have so much content right now because they have so many franchises, Marvel, Star Wars, etc.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
That they first had Mulan tweeting out, like, kill protesters, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I heard about that.
Throw them in a van and just toss them into a goddamn ravine. Like, whatever.
What a dummy.
And now we have Letitia Wright, who's like, I'm not gonna get vaccinated. They're completely gonna kill you.
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
Did you not hear that? Yeah.
No.
So they had to go on the PR offensive again, or defensive, and be like, hey, maybe don't tweet that out. And she had to, like, follow it up with saying, like, you know, I didn't mean to offend. These are just my opinions. And it's like, yeah, but they're fucking dumb.
You're insane.
Incorrect.
No. Well, dude, she's like an uber Christian. I mean, her and Chris Pratt are uber Christians.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's like, it kind of terrifies me because then shit like this comes out and it's almost like people are looking for the person that's like, oh, that's who is saying the beliefs that I agree with the most. So therefore, they're my idol. And then it's like, you know, Chris Pratt will retweet a fucking Trump-supporting thing, or Letitia Wright is now saying no to a vaccination. You're like, Jesus Christ, I had no idea until you told me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I know. So it's really funny to watch unfold how, like, this, you know, Disney seriously tries to just kind of hang on the side of, or get, like, not even avoid controversy, but not even have it appear a possibility.
Well, I mean, it's almost like karma coming back to bite them in the ass after Walt Disney was saying anti-Semitic things back in the 40s, so...
It was cool back then. It's cool now, apparently.
Was it cool? Was it cool when they made Song of the South?
Hey, that movie
come on.
Was amazing.
Uncle Remus is, you know, not a racist caricature at all.
No.
I just love living on the plantation. Fucking racist as shit.
Dude, oh goodness, man. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, so that's it's fucking insane. I didn't know that until you told me.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, I gotta say.
I mean, how do you play someone in a movie? Like, it's the same thing with Elizabeth Moss, where it's just like, how do you play something? Like, I get that it's acting. I understand. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't, for me doing comedy, I wouldn't tell a joke I disagree with, you know? Like, how do you play a character that's, like, on the forefront of science and using technology, and you're like, yeah, but, I mean, it's all bullshit, obviously, because, you know, she's a woman, and, you know, I'm Christian, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, you're conflicting with your own ideals.
It's amazing. I mean, well, the weird thing too is, like, look, we stereotype, and I do it too, and I don't mean to. Like, we all have inherent biases, right?
Yeah.
Biases?
Well, it's based on what you learned. I think one of the hardest things is unlearning a lot of the small town shit that we learned.
I think that's true, but it's also, like, I always imagine in my head, like the uneducated being the idiots. I mean, obviously, right? Because that's what it's like. Like, it's like, oh, LOL. Like, they never went to. I'm not saying. Again, this is all like.
It's like stereotyping.
Exactly.
Yes.
All these people living in the backwoods and they have no idea what they're voting for, right? And then all of a sudden you have, like, Letitia Wright, who is, like, surrounded by $1 billion company, by, like, all these, like, creative minds, and like 99% liberal minds, and there's not any osmosis going on of ideologies. It's just like vaccines don't know, they're gonna.
So what? Let me find for the video. I'll put her tweet in here. Did she delete it?
I am very much paraphrasing and much doing this in service of just getting the idea out there.
She posted an anti-vax video.
Yeah, that's what it was. And the video, the person...
And it's transphobic as well?
Yeah, I thought it was homophobic, but maybe it was transphobic. I don't know. I'm not... Yeah, it was one of those. It was a phobia, so that's something.
Oh my god. She is a big old dummy.
And it sucks because, like, she's taking over the role, presumably. Like, can you imagine being Ryan Coogler? And he's writing...
I thought that's what you were talking about, to be honest.
Well, think about this. Like, so Ryan Coogler's writing Black Panther 2. Chadwick Boseman dies. He's like, you didn't even tell me you were dying. Like, you were the main guy. Like, now I got to rewrite this whole thing. Obviously, it sucks you died. Like, that's really sad, too. And obviously, totally respect the decision to keep it private, too. But, like, for him, he's writing this entire script, so he has to write an entire new one. And he's like, well, we'll just do Letitia Wright, because she takes over the Black Panther mantle in the comics. This is kind of, like, not a huge deal. I mean, it sucks. Again, it's awful.
Yeah.
But, movie style, it's actually not a bad transition into, like, a female-led movie. And then this comes out, and he's like, well, I guess I'm trashing that script, too. Like,
is Lupita Nyong'o level-headed?
I know, I was going to say, like, what's Martin Freeman doing? Let's do a twist on it.
Just bring back Killmonger, because Michael B. Jordan is one of the greatest people in history. So,
dude, just bring him back. He can be Black Panther. He'll have learned his lesson in like the purple ethereal place they visit, and then his body like was sitting in sand the whole time. They never buried him.
I like that
don't know
idea.
if they show it. I forget, but
I think he just dies, and then they move on to the next scene.
Perfect.
So, oh god, the tweet. She deleted it. That's what I'm finding.
Oh, you can still find screenshots, though.
I'm going to look for one. Live, everybody.
Live from New...
Well, I probably can't find the video, because they might have deleted that, but I can't even find the tweet.
Dude, that's Disney for you, right? They're scrubbing the internet, baby! Only they have the power. It's pretty funny, actually.
Oh, my God. She has 360,000 Twitter followers. That's what I'm finding on CBS News.
Is that good?
No. I mean, you'd think 1 million at least.
Really? I mean, I don't really know what what constitutes, what's the word I'm looking for here? Success on Twitter. I think Twitter's the devil. So.
Yeah, by Friday morning, the original post with the link to the video had been taken down, but Wright, who currently stars in Steve McQueen's Small Axe, stood by her comment saying her intention was not to hurt anyone. My only intention of posting the video was it raised my concerns with what the vaccine contains and what we are putting in our bodies, nothing else. Would it happen to be the same thing that's going around virally where people are saying it's the Lucifer something color dye? Have you heard about this?
I've not heard of that.
There's like a Lucifer...
I'm so happy to report I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw one person share it on Facebook. They said this new... I'll sum it up for you as quickly as possible. It has Lucifer Vos or something like that. It's a color dye, so it's like Satan takes over your body and all this stuff. It's all this religious bullshit. And that's what the person genuinely believes. She's like, I'm not taking the vaccine. God's gonna watch out for me. All that shit. And then I laugh reacted, and then I deleted her on Facebook because I don't know who this person is. It's insane. My goodness. I wonder if it's the same kind of thing. Because it's always like, why would they track you with a vaccine? Like,
you have a phone.
Yes, it's right here. They know where I am.
They're tracking your phone and your internet usage. It doesn't matter. If the vaccine, you don't need a vaccine to do that. And not to mention, on the whole, vaccines have not really had too many health issues.
No.
Honestly, there's gonna be the rare case throughout history of something happening, maybe. But
it's the same as if you fucking eat carrots. I mean, some people can be allergic to literally anything. That just happens. So you can't tell me that one person dying from one vaccine in 1974 has any correlation between 270,000 people dying of coronavirus and you also saying that it's not a big deal, but that one person that died in 1974 from a vaccine is the biggest deal in the world. Like, I don't understand how you can, like, look at one as a huge risk and one person died, and then, like, a thing that's, like, actually killing people in vast numbers a day is just a hoax. Or
it's because
it goes
you
from,
hear
like,
those
5G
big numbers,
conspiracy.
you know?
Yeah.
You don't think about it. It's like when you hear about, like, I don't know, like the Holocaust, what is, like, one person dying is a tragedy, like a million people dying is like an accident or like a fluke or something that no one cares about. I forget how the saying goes.
I've heard that saying too. It's so weird. Like, you don't really, I guess it's just hard to fathom numbers. I think that's the thing. It's like when you know a personal story, you're like, wow, that's one person. That really, that hits me because you're seeing a face, you're seeing a name, you're seeing all these things. And then you have, you know, swaths of people, and for some reason that just doesn't impact you because it's not on a personal level, I guess.
Yeah.
Humans are fucking weird. But anyway,
Well,
Letitia Wright, stupid.
I have to say, just in regards to numbers too, I mean, think about, like, how impossible it is to, like, really comprehend how far away, like, the moon or the sun is, like, or Mars. Like, these things are so far away, like, one's a million versus 5 million. And you're
Kevin,
like,
they're not far away though, because the Earth is flat.
well, yeah, I know, right? Good Lord. But, like, you have one, it's like, you know, a million is a lot of miles, but 4 million is even more miles, and then, like, 15, 20, 30 million, those are all so far away.
But
But like, you can't even think about it. They're all in, like, one category of just far, and that's it.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, you say 1, 4, 15, 20 million, they're all inconceivable to the human mind. I mean, you can't picture something on your own unless you're showed what this looks like, you know?
Exactly. Or, like, years. The planet has been around, you know? Like, 6 billion versus 65 million versus 600,000. Like, how long humans have been here. Like, we have not even been the species that has been here the majority of the time.
Hasn't it been 6,000 years?
No, I believe it's at least
600,000. That
somewhere
makes
around
sense
there.
because BC, yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
I just, I think that's another, it's just unfathomable. I mean, you can't count to 1 million in a lifetime. You can't count to 1 million. It's not possible.
To 1 million?
No.
What? So if I start at 1 right now, I could probably get to, like, 1,000 in an hour. How long does it take to count? God, this is why numbers are already going off the rails.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. Let's say you counted, you know, it took 60 seconds to count to 60, right? So, like, let's just say, for argument's sake, it takes 60 seconds to count to 60, right?
Okay.
So then 60 times 2 is 120. That's 2 minutes, right?
Sure.
So if you focus on that, that's how long would it take to count to?
So it'd be like 1 million divided by, like, 60.
No, I guess.
Because, like, 60 minutes, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you'd have to convert, right?
Well,
there'd be a conversion because 1 million. It's not 1 million minutes. It'd be 1 million seconds. So how many is 1 million seconds?
like 1 million times 60?
Yeah. So 60 million seconds. How long are we alive?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Life expectancy.
How long are life expectancy in minutes?
And then divide that by 60, right? I feel like we just like saying 60. That's a number we can comprehend.
There are an average of 692,000 hours in a lifetime. So then that would be times 60, and that would be minutes. And then that times 60 is seconds? I feel like I'm doing the equation wrong here. I've not done math in a long time. I
haven't
honestly.
either. Hey, write in, everybody.
Yeah, seriously.
Note
tell us how dumb we are right now. I'm totally fine with that in this context.
Well, I'll clear my Letitia Wright browser. God, she's so... It's so sad, because she's, like, really talented, but she's a fucking dummy.
Is she talented? Like, she's a good actress? Is that talent? What is talent? How many talents do you have to be really talented? Like
Let's-
Da Vinci was a genius.
Let's focus on one thing at one time.
Okay.
Can you count to...
Steven Seagal's talented because he knows martial arts. He's an actor. He's a producer.
And he's a rapist.
Yep. And he shit himself while getting into a fight with, like, whoever it was. Wesley Snipes? Joe Rogan? I don't remember. Somebody. You've heard that story.
I think so.
Well, it's
Okay.
a good one. It's a real good one.
Let's see here. Oh, geez. People are breaking it down so difficult.
Whatever. The result
Okay.
being it's look, it's
Okay.
crazy.
This person sounds smart. So this is the question. We're on Quora. How do you do
I
this?
hate Quora.
Oh, you do? We won't use it then.
No, you can use it. And no offense to the people at Quora if you want to, like, finance our show or whatever. But, like, don't you have to register? And then, like, for some reason, they always update. I accidentally checked a box, I think, that said update, and now I get emails about it. And, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I guess it's 1 billion. You can't count to 1 billion in a lifetime. Because 1 million, it says, someone said roughly 2 months. This is on Reddit.
Gotcha.
So, whatever. I don't know. I remember hearing... I guess it's 1 billion. Who cares? It doesn't matter, but this is content, everybody. Huh? This is a podcast.
Content,
It's like,
hello.
what, 4 years running? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
No one cares.
Goodness gracious.
You doing okay over there? Your face is all bright.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm obsessing. I know, I shouldn't be. I can't stop looking at emails sometimes when I'm just like, I never knew this would be me as an adult, but, like, I just sometimes need to, like, to have control of a situation. I have to, like, read every detail so I can, like, fully process it.
Yeah.
It's like watching... Oh, man. It's like, I don't even know. It's just, yeah, you just got to envelop your mind in it so that, like, you just got to make a bunch of pillows out of the emails that you see and then put all the pillows around your mind. And then that way it's cushioned a little bit. And then you get, like, a little more comfortable and you're like, okay, it's all good. Like, I'm just on pillows right now.
Okay.
So.
I kind of get that.
But, hey, we finished that and we're going to dive into a new talk. Didn't I have another question for you?
I don't know. Did you?
I've been on eBay a lot recently, and eBay is the greatest thing if you're into gambling. And
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know. This is getting crazy. I got Doctor Strangelove for like $17 at Criterion Blu-ray. That's not bad, right?
Oh, I was gonna get that. It was Barnes and Noble, $20.
But then the deal was gone, right?
Yeah. Deal's gone now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because I should have struck while the iron was hot.
I did, and a lot of investment in my part. Because
That's good.
We're stuck in quarantine, and the third man Blu-ray Criterion is selling for over $100 because it's out of print.
How many
and the
did you
DVD.
get?
I got a ton. I can't even remember offhand. The ones that we've watched so far, 12 Angry Men.
Oh, that's on our list. I wanted to get that, actually.
Dude, it is amazing. I love that movie. Never saw it before.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But, yeah, I got that one and watched it. And what was the other one?Cat People. That was the other Blu-ray that we
The Klaus
got.
Kinski one?
No, I think maybe.
Or was it the original one? Was it like Val Luton?
Val Luton. Yes. It's the
Okay.
original.
Because there's one from the 80s with, I think it was Klaus Kinski, and I feel like Natasha was in there too, or Natasha. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Huh. I'll have to watch that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched both of those, Jackie and I. We have Cinema Sundays. We watched those. Chinatown. There was the other one. That wasn't Criterion, but it was DVD, and holy shit, that looks amazing.
Chinatown's a great movie always. Anyways.
It really is. But,
So, I'm all for seeing, I have a huge, I think this is probably true of, like, anyone who's into movies that is aware of movies from, like, the 70s and the 60s or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's just, I get such a kick out of watching, like, Jack Nicholson when he was DiCaprio's age, or like Al Pacino when he was that age, when they're like these young like 28-year-old dudes who are just like killing it, and you're like, like that, like watching, knowing what they developed into, and being able to watch that and just be like, dude, like, damn, good for them, shit.
I mean, that's just a legacy. That's the most fascinating thing to me when it comes to art is the evolution of the performer. So you can see where they came from and where they are now, but there's no prediction of where they'll be in the future, you know? Like, if you're watching The Two Jakes, which is also Jack Nicholson, he directed it. It's a sequel to Chinatown. It came out in 91, wasn't it?
I think it was 90.
1990. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like a year. It doesn't matter.
But it's just interesting to, like, be in that moment and then look back and be like, well, he's done Chinatown, he's done Easy Rider, he's done The Shining.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And now we're watching The Two Jakes, and we're like, where is he going to go from here? No one would predict The Departed. No one would predict As Good as It Gets. That's insane. I think that's very fascinating. Yeah.
Where you can like have a clunker, and you're like, okay, it's interesting. It's kind of a failure to an extent, though, but it's kind of interesting at the same time. It's like I mean, the thing is, too, he's in more movies. My easy example is DiCaprio, because he's like, seriously, has established such a legacy already.
Oh, yeah.
He really hasn't had too many misses, and even when he has a miss, it's still kind of interesting. Like
Blood
The Great
Diamond.
Gatsby. Yeah, even Blood Diamond. Well, that was pretty good, right?
It's good,
I mean,
yeah.
It's not amazing. I don't know why it was nominated for so many Oscars, but...
Because they felt bad for still not giving him a goddamn Oscar.
I guess. Even, like, The Revenant, which I think I didn't love, even though it was, like, really well-made, like, incredibly well-made, even. Even that is still, like, you can't say it's bad. I mean, even if you didn't really like it, there's so much craft that went into it. You're just like, this is so crazy.
There's a lot of movies like that where it's like, I don't know if I could watch it again, but I respect the shit out of it. And it's like, you have to walk away being like, that was a good movie.
For sure. I completely agree with you. I think Requiem for a Dream gets commonly brought up as a movie you don't really want to watch because it's just like so depressing.
Ass to ass.
Except for that's a pretty funny line out of context.
I know Connor Wojtowicz from high school. He and I used to go back and forth saying ass to ass. It's just, I mean,
my
it's
goodness.
the saddest scene in the movie, but it's hilarious.
I always thought the saddest scene, like,
The mom?
Or the dude getting his arm amputated is pretty rough.
That too. Dude, the whole movie is rough. I mean, it doesn't... Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. It is a good movie, but, you should go watch it.
You can spoil it. It's been out for like 20 years. I mean, what are we doing here, guys? If you're listening to this, I'm sure you've seen it already.
Yeah, that's a good point. Marlon Wayans is in it, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he get killed?
No, he gets put into prison.
Ah, okay. That is sad as well.
Yeah, it is. It's all sad. All the 4 storylines are just sad. Dude, Marlon Wayans, what's up with that? Now, hear me out, okay?
Is this a segue into Batman Forever?
Actually, that's fine. We can do it. Because he's in Living Color. He's in it, right? Because I know his brothers are. I thought he made an appearance. I never really watched the show, though.
I only remember Jim Carrey and Keenan Ivory Wayans being the brain, like it being his brainchild.
And Damon.
Damon Wayans is on it for sure. I don't remember if Marlon is.
I thought he was, but regardless, he definitely, like, he did Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. So he's definitely, like, doing comedies. He's a scary movie. And then he, like, does a transition. He's trying to do serious, so he does Requiem for a Dream. It's like, okay. And then he's in...
That was before Scary Movie.
Oh, was it? I thought it was like right after, or it was in the same time frame though, right?
Let me check. It's so funny. I was checking on my computer and now I'm checking on my phone.
Well, while you check that, I mean, actually, I'm gonna wait because I'm kind of curious now. I'm gonna talk, but here, okay, I'll just continue anyways while you're doing
Requiem for a Dream came out December 15th, 2000. I guess Scary Movie came out, I would say, right before that. So I wonder what one he filmed first. July 7th, 2000 is when Scary Movie came out. So you were right.
Yeah, but but they're pretty close. And I think it's interesting because you see
same year.
you do see actors doing like comedy roles and then trying to transition into drama a lot. But look at Marlon Wayans. Okay, so 90s he's doing comedy. He's up for the role of Robin. He doesn't get it, but he's up for it, and he's like right there. I mean, this is Batman Returns, right? That they were going to put him in.
Yes. Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
He tells a story on some show. I don't know if it's Jimmy Fallon or something. James Corden, one of them. But he was telling it, and he gets all the movies wrong. But like he's like, I was auditioning for Batman and Robin, and they hadn't introduced Robin yet. And I'm like, okay, that's not right. But anyway, he tells the whole story about it. But I'm pretty sure it was Batman Returns that he's talking about, and then they cut him out of the script.
That's what it was. Yeah. But it's so funny because he did that. So he's doing. It's like okay, and then he does Scary Movie Requiem for a Dream. It's like okay, this is getting interesting. Nothing happens for like 9 years, and he comes out with G.I. Joe. He's the co-lead. Like, what the fuck?
What about
is going
White Chicks and the other Scary Movie?
Right, but those are. But that's what's so weird, though, right? Because
you mean drama? He hasn't done anything with drama.
But not only that, he's not even doing action. Why is he in G.I. Joe? Okay, that's all I'm trying to get to. I can get Requiem for a Dream. You know, he's trying to pivot. Then he does all those shitty movies, Little Man and White Chicks, and I swear to God, there's one more. And
A Haunted House.
Yeah, well, that was after. Yeah. I think that was after G.I. Joe. And that is even again. I feel like because G.I. Joe is Stephen Sommers, that's the Mummy. G.I. Joe is just the Mummy, but much worse, and it's G.I. Joe instead of the Mummy. So Channing Tatum is Brendan Fraser, and he's bad in it, obviously, because it's a bad movie. And then I guess Marlon Wayans would be like Kevin J. O'Connor, maybe, or like Oded Fair, maybe from the Mummy. But and it's all bad. It's all bad again. But like, what is going on there?
I'll be honest with you, I never saw it.
Oh God, you're not missing anything. It's awful.
Good.
Yeah, G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, and then G.I. Joe: Retaliation came out like 4 years later. Those movies honestly deserve a retrospective because like Retaliation's like 7 years old, and that had The Rock in it. And it's like, why are you in this?
Maybe on a future episode of Something Serial.
Oh, I agree. We should do a Marlon Wayans Something Serial. We're just like, there's all these comedies. He has Requiem for a Dream, and then he has G.I. Joe.
Did you? It's so funny because we've talked about this multiple times, but there's always like VHSs that your parents had laying around, and mine had. It's funny. This isn't the one I was talking about or going to talk about, but it popped into my head. But Jade, the David Caruso movie.
Yeah.
Like, why do they have
Fiorentino?
That? Yeah. So
William
random.
Friedkin.
Yeah, that is a William Friedkin. I'd like to watch it. I'd like to watch it again. I don't remember it because I like snuck it when I was a kid, but I don't remember the movie at all.
It's a good one to watch to sneak in as a kid, though. That's for sure.
Fuck yeah, because the parents had it.
Yeah. Hello, David Caruso.
The movie I was thinking of was Senseless. Did you ever watch Senseless? We had that on VHS.
Oh my God, the one where the cover is like yellow and it shows the guy with the blue beaker.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it though.
Isn't it Marlon Wayans and David Spade?
I believe that is absolutely the cast, as far as I can remember.
It's so random, but
I'm like, why does that movie exist?
I mean,
they're trying to combine In Living Color cast with Saturday Night Live cast, and they came up with Senseless.
It's on Hulu if you guys want to watch it. This is the plot of the movie, and if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably seeing clips of it already. Hardworking college student Daryl Witherspoon is aiming high, but better connected Scott Thorpe gets the breaks in the classroom and on the ice hockey rink. We don't need to say ice hockey rink.
Are they on the hockey team?
I think so. Then, bolstering his cash with medical experiments, Witherspoon is given a drug that heightens all his 5 senses, and he's a success on and off the ice until he overdoses, leaving him with only 4 of his senses working at any one time, and they keep switching. Pretty interesting plot. Brad Dourif is in it.
Oh my goodness. I swear to God I've seen this in a drama. I want to say Traffic?
I'm sorry, it has a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, it's worth watching.
To be fair, it has a 6% with 17 critics viewing or reviewing, and then a 45% audience score with over 10,000 reviewing.
So it's still bad.
It's double
I think
bad.
10,000 people, 45% are like, this is amazing.
Oh, man.
That's actually kind of a good chunk, though, out of 10,000. Holy smokes. That's 4,500 people.
Yeah.
That's like if you, like, in a weird way, even though it's not. I mean, that's almost 50-50. You have a decent shot of walking up to a crowd of 10,000 people who reviewed Senseless and just saying hello to the person who loved it.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not as bad as you would expect.
Oh,
45% with 500 people weighing in. Or 5,000 people. Did you have any other stuff you wanted to say about Criterion?
I guess so. I almost feel like this could maybe not be its own episode, but it almost could, because like I'm just delving into the world a little bit because they're like fucking for real, bro. And
yeah, we should save that for another. We hinted a little bit at it, but
I'm gonna hit a couple questions that these will be the thesis, or these will be explored in that episode.
Okay.
Hey,
or let's stop. Let's just do it now.
Stop.
Let's do it. Let's do Criterion, and then and then Batman and Robin, and I'll just fucking edit it together and do like 2 episodes or some shit. Who gives a shit?
This is like this is a 10-minute Kerrit version. This isn't something serial. This is like a Kerrit thing.
We decide our own fate.
Okay, no fate, but what we make for ourselves.
You make your own luck, Bruce.
I was doing Terminator 2. I forgot we were doing Batman.
Oh, yeah. Make your own luck. That was my Katie Holmes.
That's a good one, too. Oh, you mean... No, it was Maggie Gyllenhaal.
It was Rachel.
It was Rachel!
Criterion.
Okay, what does Criterion mean? And go.
Isn't it, like... monumental, like it's not Paramount, but
because criteria is like you have to meet certain criteria. Is it like derived from that? So like the Criterion collection is like, man, you met a certain criteria, bro, so you're part of the Criterion collection.
No, Criterion means a principle or standard by which something may be judged or decided. So it's basically like, if Paramount means important, Criterion means the bar is up here. This is what everyone thinks should be judged by, which makes sense looking at their roster of movies.
Right, and then the people that own or created the collection just got lucky that the English language has like an awesome alliterative 2 words there, Criterion collection. They were like, yeah, we're making money, $40 a pop!
I mean, there's... Okay. I think it's just because there's multiple words.
You froze there for a sec.
You froze too, but
I have it plugged in. Motherfucker.
If it would have been a motherfucker, if it would have been any other word, I mean, they would have figured out another word that would be alliteration with it.
The congratulative collection, because they're that good, you got to congratulate them.
You cannot use the word collection, Kevin.
Group, the great group.
Okay. Like definitive dictatorship. There we go. That's what Criterion collection.
That was Hitler. That's not a movie.
Well, technically not definitive because there have been many sequels.
But he's the definitive. I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe someone back in like, I don't know, a different timeline, probably. I don't know.
Captain America.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's what Criterion means.
Yep.
It's wonderful that there's an alliterative, there's collection. It's beautifully put together. They're poets. It's great. Who chooses the Criterion collection?
I can also say
it's so subjective.
Who chooses the Library of Congress? movies that get put in? Who chooses?
These are legitimate questions now that we're talking about it. I mean, these people, how do I trust? Can I tell you why? Let me tell you why.
Yeah, tell me why.
Because I'm looking at eBay because I'm obsessed with it now, and I'm like, let's see what some of the Criterion collections, what's going on in here, And I
love the idea that you open your browser every time, and that's what you say.
Yeah, I'm like, let's look at
let's see what's going on.
What's going on in the let's get the Criterion. Let's look at the Criterion collection. Yeah,
let's double check my Twitter. What do we got going here? Let's see.
It's tough because this computer is so old that when I say it into the computer, nothing happens. So I get kind of frustrated at first, and then I realize, hey, idiot, it's a computer. It's not like Siri or whatever.
You got it type, you fucking bozo.
Yeah, and then I'm like, and then I'm like, So, okay, so this is what I'm doing on eBay, right? I'm typing in Criterion Collection, and I see, 3 films of, the Qasi trilogy, or, something like that, QASI, and that's just one example. There's a bunch of examples of random movies out there of the Criterion Collection that are just, 10-minute short films that are basically, I don't know, art films, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring of I don't really like art films for the sake of art. I think they're kind of dumb unless they have some really cool film effects.
You didn't like Un Chien Andalou? I don't know how to pronounce it.
But that's different. That is that.
Why
I
is
would
it
imagine
different?
that is okay. A couple things. Is that in the Criterion Collection? Do you know?
I don't think so, but it's 17 minutes long?
It is only 17
minutes. It's the definition of an art house film.
But okay, a couple things. First of all, that one's easy to defend. I mean, you have 2 of the greatest surreal artists of all time behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Also, it's at a time when film was not widely, experimented with, really. I mean, it was a silent movie. And so it kind of was definitive because of all of those things. I mean, it's the first of its kind. It has the 2 amazing dudes, and then it's iconic. It's iconic because it has the eye scene, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the they slice with a razor a goat's or a sheep's eye, I think,
or something. Yeah,
yeah.
And the thing is, you can't argue with the fact that there are certain movies that are popular because of a certain scene like that. So there's a lot going for that movie, I think. But at the same time, here's unless you have a response, I have a follow-up.
Well, I was just going to say, so what do you have against the quasi? Let's just call it quasi for argument's
Let's
sake.
look it up. Let me just show you.
Okay.
Because this is what I mean is okay, let me show you. Let me just show you here.
You ever have that moment where you're just in another room and then you suddenly smell something really good and you're like, oh, someone's cooking. And it smells I'm hungry.
Is your lovely girlfriend creating dinner for you?
She is creating a Criterion dinner. Because this is the one I will measure everything else to.
Everything's going to suck after this. Okay. Let me read you the synopsis, okay? So, okay. It's the Qatsi trilogy, Qatsi, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you. A singular artist and activist, Godfrey Reggio, is best known for the galvanizing films of the Qatsi trilogy, astonishingly photographed and featuring unforgettable cascading scores by Philip Glass. These are immersive sensory experiences that meditate on the havoc humankind's obsession with technological advancement has wreaked on our world. Okay? Do you want me to continue? Is that enough?
That's enough. So what's your takeaway? Who cares?
My take is pretty much I can see why something like that might be in, let's say, the National Film Registry, where there are there's such a diverse group of films there. You almost want to collect everything. But right?
You have to look at it from a business standpoint as well, because Criterion
Who the fuck is buying this?
People.
Sorry.
That's the thing is Criterion has a bunch of different types of film. They're not they're not all hallmarks. They're not technically by definition Criterion film. There's going to be some duds in there, but when it comes to that, you have to look at my interests aren't the same as everybody else's, right?
That's
Not
true.
everyone's gonna like Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. I mean, that's like a controversial film because of like the transphobicness of it. But guess what? I fucking bought it. So because I like Brian De Palma, I'm excited to see that movie.
Yeah.
So
I've always wanted to see it. I have not seen that.
Yeah. But then you're also gonna have. There's another one called I think In the Claws of Manila in Midnight or in Manila. In the Claws of Manila, something like that. But it's a movie made in the Philippines, and you're like, I've never heard of this movie. Why is it in the Criterion Collection? But then you have to take a step back and be like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be movies that I've never heard of because there's going to be from all over the world, you know, like influential things to certain people. You also have to look at the fact that maybe certain directors strike deals with the Criterion, so the rest of their movies will come through there, or they'll, you know, redo other movies of theirs through there. It's all licensing and stuff like that. So,
but then some of that is weird, right? Like, let's say they're striking deals with certain directors. Wes Anderson comes to mind. I don't know if they have a specific deal with him.
David Fincher.
Yeah, but like, you know, that kind of it makes you question the credibility of their choosing process because, like, look, I love like David Fincher movies. I love Wes Anderson movies, but it's kind of weird that they like all have Criterion automatically, you know?
Well, I mean, would you say... I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I guess in regards to, like, I don't mean to like criticize movies I haven't seen. It's not that, and I am doing that. I see I'm doing that.
I mean,
but
you are, and I don't know how to reply to it. Like, it's also something I haven't seen, but if it's Criterion, like, didn't Moonstruck just come out from them? Didn't
Maybe.
they just do Moonstruck? And I'm like, is that good? Who's that for? I've never seen it. But then
Right.
at the same time, I'm like, some people must enjoy it. I think I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm like, maybe it's just not for me. They have Tootsie. Tootsie. Is Tootsie a good movie? I've never seen it.
Tootsie's a great movie.
Okay.
Tootsie's terrific. It's
But
Dustin Hoffman.
would you say it's Criterion, though?
I mean, you know, me personally,
See?
that's the thing, though, right? I mean, fucking like The Life Aquatic is Criterion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of other examples that are like you're surprised. Armageddon's Criterion.
I have it.
So they do make some of those choices, and it's The Rock is Criterion. It's so interesting, right? Mm-hmm. And I arguably they deserve it. I mean, there's a real singular vision there. They're before Michael Bay became like the shitty version of himself, and it was when he was still like experimenting with the best ways to make real action movies.
So let me put it to you this way: Quatsi, what's it called? Quasi,
like Kotzi.
Kotzi.
Yeah,
maybe those are the best representations of that director. Maybe it's like his specific vision. Maybe it's what he wanted to do, and maybe Criterion's like, yeah, we'll put this in. It's the same as The Rock and Armageddon. I mean, those aren't the hallmarks of film or disaster movies or action movies. I mean, Armageddon for sure is not. But The Rock is a great action movie. At the same time, it's not the greatest.
Can we take a break and just watch the trailer to these things? This is so interesting. One of these, I just have to say, I'm gonna narrate this. Listen to me. I'm narrating this. It's 45 seconds, okay? Oh, nope, this is an advertisement. I'm sorry. Cut this part out. I don't know. Maybe, honestly, the older I get, the less, what are the words here? The more set I am in my ways, which I don't think is a good way to try to grow yourself. Mm-hmm. But I think there are some things that I'm okay with. And I think, like for example, I'd be open to watching this movie, but I'm perfectly okay saying I don't really want to just watch like a montage of like shots of a building. Like Andy Warhol, who made that, I think it's literally called, oh man, it's either like the date that it was filmed or it's literally called Building or something, you know, artistic like that. And it's just a 24-hour movie of the Empire State Building. Like, who the fuck is going to goddamn watch that? I get it's Andy Warhol. I get it's, like, artistic, but what the fuck?
Well, notice that's not in the Criterion collection, and Kotze is.
That's true. So I wonder what the differences are here. Based
Maybe
on the
music
trailer,
is just so good.
I guess. I mean, Philip Glass is the man.
I've heard of Philip Glass.
With him. You've never heard of him?
I have. That's what I'm saying. It's like I've heard of Francis Ford Coppola. I've heard of Philip Glass. And maybe it's some deal with them. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's. I think the work speaks for itself as well. Like, you're talking about the catalog that they have and how some things aren't so great, but you also have not seen them. Maybe you'd see this movie and it would give you a completely different perspective, right? Mm-hmm. If you went in with an open mind, huh? And then, but also, I mean, they deserve accolades for the amount of work that they do in restoration of film. I mean, if you watch 12 Angry Men, holy shit, that's a crisp picture. Mm-hmm. With film grain, fuck, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. The supplements are great. I mean,
I definitely agree with you there. And you know, I'm not even trying to criticize Criterion. Obviously, we're doing like kind of God's work in some ways. Like, what they're doing to be able to make these movies to make them what they were. Mm-hmm. You know,
Spartacus.
Yeah, for sure. Great movie.
Ingmar Bergman, all his shit. I bought the director's, like, pretty much his entire life's work collection from Criterion. Mm-hmm. Virgin Spring is in there. The Seventh Seal, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't give a fuck who you are. Akira Kurosawa's The Seventh Samurai. I have that. That's
what I was trying to get, actually.
Yeah.
I really want to see that.
I think it was 25.
Throne of Blood. I kind of want to see like all of Akira Kurosawa's movies all of a sudden. I've never seen any of them.
I know. I feel so bad.
Me too. Like, I used to be such a movie fan, and now like I don't hunt down these movies I've never seen before.
Yeah, and now you're like, fuck this idea.
Well, okay. I mean, I know you're joking, but like I'm
kidding.
There's so many movies I would want to see. I don't really want to see like a montage of New York in the 80s set to Philip Glass music. Like that's not on the top of my list.
Yeah. I can agree with you, but maybe it's for... I think that's the best thing about Criterion is that it's not... Like, there's a lot of foreign film, there's avant-garde stuff, there's, you know, movies that everyone loves. They're all over the map, and I think that's a perfect representation of what humanity is and film-going is. I mean, it's not all for us, you know? I think that's the nice thing about it. They're also not putting in Transformers.
Yeah.
Like any of those movies, right?
Yeah.
They're putting in The Rock. They're putting in Armageddon, which crushed the box office. So, you know, there's a thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean...
I love them. I mean, I'm going to fucking go down in flames just defending them.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I mean, I hope it doesn't sound like I don't love them. I mean, I don't really have a huge opinion one way or the other.
I think it was just more of like you know, why the fuck is this movie in there? And it's like, well, I mean, why? There's so many movies that get made that I'm like, why is that made?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. True enough. I guess the reasoning being like, look, not all movies are going to appeal to me. Mm-hmm. And a collection is thus not necessarily supposed to include only things that I like, especially because I'm not the curator of this collection. But
yeah, I guess, yeah, that was your point. It's like, who is the curator?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. It's just kind of weird, like, look, I mean, and it comes back a little bit to, so my experimental movie that I'm talking about specifically, and I know this is super niche, and there's no way I can even, like, properly describe this, but when I studied abroad in Argentina, we went to this place, like a film institute, to watch like a couple of short films that were like all these artsy type people are sitting around watching this film unfold, and it was all experimental, and it wasn't pleasant to watch. And I think sometimes that's part of the artistry, is trying to make you uncomfortable, but not because of how poorly it was made, but because of what you're seeing.
Can you go into details?
I guess like just like blobs of colors kind of meshing with one another, shots of like up close water running over rocks, all of this kind of melded together, and like shots kind of going upside down. So like all of a sudden, like the creek is flowing upside down. Like it's just the frame being flipped upside down.
So you're watching a credit sequence with no credits.
I mean, you know, it was a little more in depth than that, but you know, I see that, and I see people, like, I remember people talking about it, like, oh, what does it all mean? Like, what does it all mean, Basil? And I'm just like, obviously these dudes got a camera and turned it upside down and filmed a creek, and like put blobs of colors like around it, and like it doesn't mean anything to me. And I guess art means things to me. Like if I go to a museum and I'm looking at certain pictures, yeah, you can derive meaning for yourself, but like some things are just so egotistical to me, and like that strikes me as an example of just being kind of like, oh, like let me paint this soup can, I'm Andy Warhol.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of him. It's such an interesting thing. It's like, what is art? That's the kind of idea.
And it is
like
so subjective. It's so hard to really pin down.
There's a Facebook thing going on right now. Mike Logan posted something. He's a... Listeners know. You know who he is. But he posted something about how if a local arts program in your city doesn't offer stand-up comedy as a part of it, then it's just because they don't recognize it as art, and that's wrong, something like that. And then another commented, and he's like, me and Gerrit have a thing going back and forth where I say comedy's not art, and Gerrit says it is. And then I commented, and I'm like, that's just because he thinks that nothing is art, or something like that. Because I think that stand-up is art. I mean, it's you can't judge a thing by the bad thing in it. That's my whole point. It's like, you can't bring up Jeff Dunham and be like, well, all stand-up is not art because this guy is doing this thing. And you're like, that's not how you judge anything. You can't say that the Virgin Spring isn't art because Armageddon exists. That's not that's not how we do this. You can't say, so we can go on and on and on with examples. And then his whole idea is like, well, the whole goal with comedy is to make people laugh while they're ordering drinks. And it's like, yeah, that's in a fucking bar setting, because that's where that part of the art form has been stipulated to. It's been sequestered over here. It's cordoned off to this specific place. So if you can transcend that ideal and get to a better place because you want to grow your art, then there you go. If that's your goal, then that's it. You're an artist. That's my whole point of view. But
it's interesting. One of the things, you know, now that we're talking about this, this reminds me, the thing that's kind of unfortunate about art to an extent is that you have to be a certain kind of eventually a lot of modern art is critiqued by a group of people that have grown up only doing that.
yes.
Right? So all these people are kind of like, have been in this world for so long, so then they end up judging what is and what isn't art, and it becomes their life and their career and their identity. And honestly, this makes me think of the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, I think it's Velvet Buzzsaw.
Never saw it.
It was released directly to Netflix. It's like a horror comedy. I don't remember it being very good, but it's definitely poking fun at like artists being like these kind of, and I hate to have this idea. Like I have definitely stereotyped them. This like kind of just like this uppity, like I'm holding wine and like look at the flow, like I'm blah blah blah, and like.
Well, I mean, to interrupt you, which I always do.
That's fine.
The idea they exist though. There is a reason that stereotypes do exist. Is because some people fulfill those things. There are snooty art people. Like that just is a thing.
Right.
To judge everybody by them, that's where you're incorrect. But it is a stereotype that you can exploit. So I understand.
That's the thing though, is like. So much, I mean, you know, so much mainstream art is like such, like, shrug your shoulders. Come on, give me a break here.
Isn't that music? Isn't that movies? Isn't
it's
that
everything.
comedy?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. It's the
everything.
Grammys. Look at the Grammys. That's an easy example.
Yep.
And I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, then you see like a student film where you flip a creek upside down, like the shot, and you're like, am I supposed to motherfucking be like transcending space and time right now, or
Well, maybe you have to be high to feel something from that. Maybe that's the idea.
that brings up a great idea. I have always, and I think that this is what stoner comedies are for, but it's not quite as explicit as what I would want it to be. Mm-hmm. But like, there are literally certain movies you're supposed to watch while high, because then they almost make more sense, where it's like, oh, like that's what I would do, because like you're stoned and you're thinking about things in a different way. But it would be nice to have a movie where the person's like, hey, this is the time to go smoke now. And then it's just people in a theater smoking. And you're like, then the movie starts.
It's fun. It's like put on your 3D glasses at the end of
Exactly. That's what they should do at art museums, or like certain art museums. Mm-hmm. Like if it's a bunch of
free weed. Here's a tab of acid. Come back in 45 minutes.
Welcome to the Urban Institute of Contemporary Arts. Here's your complimentary joint. Have your nice night.
Don't go down that corridor. It's terrifying.
There's a wine bar over there.
For your mellow to buzz you out. To buzz you out. I mean, bring you down. Man, I haven't
bring you down, baby. Yeah.
Well, we're pretty far into this. I
think. Didn't expect it to go this direction.
I think Batman and Robin's getting postponed.
Yeah, we should probably release this one honestly just straight up under the Kerrit and not something serial.
Well, I mean, I did a re-release last week, and then that came out only on the Kerrit, so there's something serial. So something serial could just take 2 weeks off. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine, because we ended up talking about what is art to us. And it sucks because I feel like when I was in college, the older you get, the less you're absorbing. And
yeah,
I think that's how I experience life, at least.
For me, I think I'm absorbing more. I'm just realizing I don't like everything, but I'm also realizing that not everything is for me, and I think that's gaining perspective, where you're just like, yeah, I'm not to fucking just be up on my moral high horse, but like I'm a straight white male. Not everything is for me. I get it,
and that's true. I see. I was watching. There's a different aspect to it that I was thinking about, and it was perfectly expressed by The Simpsons. And I wish I had the clip, but it was basically.
Do you remember the season and the episode?
Man, I'd have to. Let me just do a quick 30-second Google and see if this comes up.
Maybe we'll play it. Who knows?
Okay, I can't find it. It's okay. It's no big deal. But the basic point was like, if you think enough about something, it's not worth trying to even try. And it was just kind of like, it felt like too real, bro. So I'll try to find the clip though, and maybe we can try and throw it up next week.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I do still have opinions. That's the thing too, is like I think you should get to a point where I don't know, it's just so weird to say any of this, because I feel like I sound so smug. I feel like I sound like one of those fucking artists with the wine, where it's just like, well, I think that you should love everybody, but I don't know. It's like, not everything's for me, and I also have my opinions where I'm like, that is shit.
Right.
I still think like Jeff Dunham is fucking awful, and I know personal stories about him as a person, and he is a fucking piece of shit. I know these things. Oh yeah, he's a fucking awful person. So I have no qualms with calling.
Do you care to share, or are we not allowed to throw that up?
Do I care to share? No, I can't. No, because if I said the story, then if it ever got back in 90 years, when people actually listen to this fucking thing.
Right.
If you are listening, I love you. If you are watching, I love you.
Smash that like button.
Ring that bell for notifications.
Jesus Christ.
But the idea is, if I said the story, it would get back to him. He would be able to find out who the person was. So
no doubt.
But that's the thing, is like, I can say he's a piece of shit because many people who know him know that, and he knows that he's a piece of shit in front of other people, so he can't like pinpoint it. So
that's why he has all those dummies to kind of
say his
vent
awful
those
thoughts.
Portions of his personality.
Yep. And it's like it disgusts me that like kids watch that shit. You know, like kids are able to watch Jeff Dunham. I'm like, oh, so that's how you instill racist and homophobic thoughts. Got it.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Cool. Whatever. He's a piece of shit. So anyway, but yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'll call a spade when it comes to that. But it's like, you know, if it's fucking. I'm trying to think of an example. Like if it's a short film where it's like different things, like I'll put shit, you know, at Thanksgiving we had a chimney on the TV in the living room while we were eating. And it was like, this is fun. It's a fake little thing. It's fun. But it's not like, I wouldn't call it art, you know?
That's amazing. Well, it's like, I mean, but that's like Christmas decorations, right?
Yeah.
It's like little knickknacks, and those are fun though.
Art.
Like I'm looking at my Christmas tree right now. My mom sent me an ornament that I requested in the mail because I was like, "Where's this ornament? Where's my Mickey Mouse? I want my fucking Mickey Mouse." He's like, "Goddamn, my age, for Christ's sake."
That's true. I mean, that's technically art and design, you know?
But that, I mean, kinda. I mean, okay. I see what I kind of agree. I mean, we literally decorated the apartment to reflect the Christmas time, and you know, I'm not a huge Christmas person.
Me neither.
But it's fun because it almost like marks the season. It marks a moment, and it helps to kind of give clarity to the pace of life. I feel. In a way, I've never really said it out loud like that, and so perhaps that needs some revision. But you know, it's nice to just kind of reflect and just say, "Hey, there's a Santa on my shelf. I like that guy. He has such a big beard. Like he's watching movies with us. He's watching me right now. It's kind of weird. Did you hear that clunk just now?
I did. What was that?
Oh, that was a remote. I got
fall?
It was a remote, I guess. Oh well. Anyways.
This was a great conversation. I did not expect this. This was
Me
fun.
either. I'm happy that I looked at those emails before we began because that gave me just enough anger to have energy to look into other things beyond what we meant to talk about, which is an unfortunate side effect of that said anger.
That's good. Well, you'll get your emails out of the way. What about his emails? You'll get your emails out of the way next time, and then we'll talk about
I feel like Hillary Clinton over here.
Batman and Blob and...
Yeah. Hey, wait, wasn't there one last thing I wanted to say?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I heard... Oh, no, never mind.
You can't leave me and them hanging.
It's political. I just wanted to say I heard that Joe Biden wanted to have Americans wear masks for like 100 days after he took office. So that was an interesting...
I think I saw that, but I think I didn't read the headline fully, and then I kind of just didn't care.
Yeah. Not a major thing. It's just kind of... It was just interesting to me to see...
Power.
An opinion.
Yeah, an opinion. An opinion from a statement of power. Which, if you look at it, that 100 days, that's after that 100 days, that's when, you know, more vaccines should be rolling out. But if you're Letitia Wright, then you're not going to take it. So, I mean, you should just wear your mask forever. I
know. I must say, well, so I think this is another thing I really briefly wanted to say was someone said he was giving an interview, and the reporter asked, like, you said you would... Do you hear that? There's a rustling going on. You don't hear it?
Not really, no.
Weird. I'm sorry about that. Maybe it was a ghost. We think we might have a ghost. I'll send you the picture. Anyways.
How are you just dropping all this stuff on me?
That's what Heather says. I've seen the picture. You can see the eyes and the nose, but it's obviously... You know.
Well, I'll be sure to scan all this footage and make sure. I'll hear a voice at minute 45, and it's going to be like, "Get out!"
Oh God! Oh my God! Please let me know because that's need to know information. Okay, but he was saying,
"Get out!"
Did you hear that? I heard something. It came through my headphones.
Dude, it's so funny because if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the moment Kevin shit his pants. This was you. there's something.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So they were talking. They were like, "You say you want to get the vaccine live on TV with like all the other ex-presidents that said they were going to do the same thing. Like, why do you think that's going to help influence people?" I know, right? I'm not. Again, I gotta say, as usual, I'm paraphrasing, but the content is pretty accurate. And he basically was like, because like if the president does it, like you're not going to reach everyone, obviously, but like you're going to reach more people if like someone like myself and someone like the ex-presidents or people like the ex-presidents are doing it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a stupid. It was just a weird moment.
That's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Did you hear that he fractured his foot?
I did. Yeah.
I didn't hear that on any major news source. I think I saw someone share it or something, or saw it on Twitter, and then it was gone. And I'm like, yeah, that's how that story should be. It should not be a fucking mainstay, but with everything with Trump, it's always a fucking continual thing.
Yeah, so. I did hear about that, and then it was funny. A couple of reasons it was funny. First, they acknowledged it, which I thought was new.
Yeah, it's like,
like if Trump did that, they'd be like, he's fine. He's the healthiest he's ever been.
I'm just walking with a limp. It's okay. Melania painted my toes. I'm trying to make them dry.
Oh, my God. And then the other thing is they released like an official, like on White House stationery or like on President-elect stationery, like a letter from his dog about the incident. And it just says like bark, 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 bark. And I'm like a sucker for that kind of stuff. I think it's funny. I don't,
Now that.
I have lowbrow humor. I have highbrow humor if I'm in England, and that's about it.
Now that is art.
Yeah, see? There you go. Communication methods, bro. I'm all about it. So, okay. Well, I guess that's our end of our show now. Or
I think so. Everybody,
okay, cool.
Like us, share us, do all that stuff. I mean,
everybody go watch Never Hike Alone on YouTube. It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll do a Friday the 13th something serial at some point.
We need to. We absolutely need to.
Yeah, baby.
It's going to take probably 50 episodes, but anyway,
we'll get it done.
But is there anything you want to say at the end to end it at all?
There should be buttons all over the screen maybe coming up where you can hit subscribe, you can watch another video, you can go to my thing and subscribe to the channel or whatever you want to do. It would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment. That always helps more people see it. That happened with a previous episode. We had people commenting like left and right, and then a ton of people watched that episode, and then the next one, no one commented, no one liked, no one saw it. Yep. So, do that. That would be great. Even if you say, fuck you. It literally helps whatever you do. So, like it, comment, all that stuff. That's YouTube. Same stuff with iTunes and whatever.
iTunes doesn't exist anymore.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Music sucks. I think I'm going to switch to Spotify.
Yeah. Spotify as well. We're on there. You can't comment, but you can. I don't know if you can write reviews on Spotify. Can you?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Think you can. Well, you know what? Support us on Anchor. That's a thing.
That would be good too. And I want to say you should get a subscription to HBO Max because apparently they're releasing all of their theatrical releases next year on HBO Max first. So that sounds awesome. I saw that,
and AMC is not happy.
I mean, it sucks. Maybe it sucks for them.
Yeah. Maybe they shouldn't have embraced not wearing masks at one point. Do you remember that? Where they're like, we're opening, and then everyone's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. And they're like, you're right, maybe we shouldn't. And then they did open.
I mean, this is the issue everywhere. If they just had some stricter rules,
maybe if they had someone telling them to fucking wear a mask, like Joe Biden said he would, then we wouldn't be in this mess.
If they were at half capacity and everyone was guaranteed to wear a mask, I would go.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean,
if they sanitized every seat,
sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not half capacity, maybe 25% capacity or something like that. But I mean, something.
That's the thing is everyone's just like small businesses are dying, theaters are dying, restaurants are dying. And it's like, yeah, that's because they can't open. If they do open, they have to limit capacity, so they're not pulling in enough money. But here's the deal. That's when the government should have bailed everybody out for the fucking first lockdown that we had. If it was across the entire... It is so easy to piece together. I can't believe people are still fucking fighting about this. This is where we are. Because of this, we're done. That's the conversation. That's it. So, whatever. I'm going to go eat some food, though, here. I'm not going to go out and get any. Why would that?
That sounds good. Don't
Yeah.
do that. I'm gonna have leftovers.
Leftovers. For sure.
Terrific. Stay
All
safe
right.
out there, everybody.
Yeah. Wear a mask.
Bye. Love you.
I love you.
Get
Someone-
out.